Okay, so I'm going to be talking about getting some help with reverse engineering malware using Ghidra MCP and in general hooking up your LLM to tools so that it can do more than just what you can get with a chat prompt. So I am going to be talking about a particular malware sample that came from DFIR report investigation. I work at Proofpoint during the day. That's where I make money doing threat detection for email at scale and see lots and lots of malware there. But I'm going to be talking about my role as a volunteer analyst with the DFIR report. If you don't know about it, I sent a link in the chat. And we try to uncover the secrets from intrusion so other people can benefit from other people's lessons. So here's the report. And there's a particular piece of malware during this intrusion that the threat actor dropped as part of a zip file full of tools, but they didn't actually run. And when I did this analysis, I did all of the reverse engineering of that DLL myself without any LLM help. But for this presentation, I wondered, like, what would it take or what would it look like if I had used a LLM to do it? So I'm actually going to do this live. Like, I got Claude desktop ready, but here's the sample here. I got Claude desktop ready, but I told it, don't even go yet, and we're actually going to ask it questions live. The way that you hook up a desktop, whether it's Claude or OpenAI or whatever, to a tool is using MCP. Probably most people know that. In this case, I'm using Ghidra MCP. This is open source, and I sent the link to the GitHub in the chat. I prompted it right now just before the talk, and I said, hey, we're going to be doing some DLL malware analysis. Could you just verify that you've got access? And at first, it couldn't talk to Ghidra. That's because I hadn't actually started the analysis running. And now I said, oh, hey, I fixed it. Check again. And Claude was able to say, oh, yes, I can see your Ghidra session right now. And I told it not to start because I wanted to do this all live, but it was just like an overeager intern. It's like, oh, I can see stuff. So it started doing things already. So the way that it checked is it called this tool get current function, and then it just looked at, where were we were at the entry point function, and then it said list functions. So I'm not going to scroll through the whole list, but you can see like there's tons and tons of functions that Ghidra identified in this malware. And then it said, all right, well, what are the imports and what are the exports? And I see there's just an entry there. And then it gave me a little bit of detail right off the bat before I even asked. Like, I wasn't even doing any interesting prompting, and it was already telling me there's some suspicious import functions and anti-analysis functions, and then some comment that it made right at the end, into user add net local group add members. That looks like it's interesting. Even if I didn't know anything about this malware, I would be interested in that. And because I analyzed this before, I know those are actually interesting functions. So that's what we're going to do. Dig into those NT or net user add and the local group add members functions. Tell me what is the username, the username and password that it adds, if any. All right, let's see if it can figure that out. So think about this in the context of like doing some incident response or following up on some kind of security incident. If you got this file just with no context, and let's say you tried to run it in a sandbox, and in the sandbox it didn't do anything interesting, you'd want to go to this next step. But if you're not comfortable with like reverse engineering, or you don't have a whole lot of time to dig into it, this could be a really useful way to go about it. And this is just prompting me every time, do you want to allow this chatbot to use the tool? And that's good that it asks, because these tools are powerful and could do things that you might not want them to do. So let's see. Let's see if it. No, yep, it's still working. Cool. Yes, all right. So it actually did get the answer. And because I've reverse engineered it, I know this is not hallucination. This is the correct answer. So it came up with the password and the username. Now, the way that I would use this during an IR, when seconds count, is I would take this output and I would just search across all my EDR platform to see, did anything like this username get added anywhere? And if it did, then I know that might be another host that's been compromised. So let me go to the chat and see if there's any questions. Mostly I'm getting like extra cool points for doing it live, more. Let me just tell you what else you can do. Like another really useful pattern for prompting when you're doing this. Please rename the function to something meaningful, and also rename variables. If you are not 100% sure, use the word maybe with an underscore in front of the name. This is what I like to do because this is actually it's gonna talk to Ghidra, and it is actually gonna make changes in my reverse engineering database, so that I can then go in and manually verify things. And I want it to indicate to me with the name how confident it is. So if it's not really sure, I want it to say maybe it's this function or whatever. So here it's actually doing some things here. It's saying function create backdoor user, old name ivar1, new name net user add result. Yeah, these look like they're fairly useful. I'm going to switch over to Ghidra and we'll just see. Like, here we go. Okay, well, I'm not going to take up a whole bunch of time scrolling through, but anyway,
There
you
was a
can take my
question
word for
here.
it. It is renaming things so that I could continue this manually.
So there was a question here. Wonder why it didn't highlight the PDB path?
Oh, why didn't it highlight the PDB path? Or why did it? Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Did it
Why
do that?
didn't? Why didn't? You can scroll up in the comments, you'll see it. What's your
Okay. Print nightmare, release spider. Oh, I don't know. I mean, it totally should have. Maybe because I didn't ask it if there was anything interesting about the PDB path. But yeah, that'd be a good prompt.
is, not to click always allow.
Yes, that is a very good point. Don't click always allow because now you don't know what you're consenting to in the future.
And then you're probably best not to run these within you're probably best to run these within a VM.
Mm-hmm.